This is CBC Vancouver News.
There should be more patrolling and more alerts should be announced that this should not be happening again.
Something like this happens, it's just devastating to the community.
A vigil is held to mourn the death of a young man who was stabbed and killed near White Rock Pier last week. No arrests have been made, and many in the small community say they feel unsafe. And
now that it's at that higher taxation rate, that means they're getting less and less money to take home to actually fund their retirement.
some BC doctors warn Ottawa's capital gains tax hike could impact care and drive more physicians away from family medicine. But the federal government is pushing back. Plus,
and I love him. He's the best singer.
it was a dream come true for a young Bhangra dancer from Surrey after he was invited on stage to perform alongside his idol, Punjabi superstar Diljit Dosanjh. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. We begin in White Rock, where more than 100 people gathered for a vigil tonight to mourn the death of 26-year-old Kulwinder Sohi, who was stabbed and killed near the pier last week. The victim's brother described him as a hardworking man who came to Canada about 6 years ago and was working as a Red Seal plumber. He says White Rock Beach was Kulwinder's favorite place to go.
There should be more patrolling and more alerts should be announced that this should not be happening again.
Gurleen Sohi says their parents still live in India and they are in shock following his brother's killing. The fatal stabbing at the White Rock Pier came just 2 days after another attack in the same area.
We are a community and we are all standing together. We're standing with the people that have been impacted by this tragedy and their families. We realize that this community is in shock right now. A lot of people are feeling unsafe.
No arrests have been made. The Integrated Homicide Investigation Team says it has neither confirmed nor ruled out the possibility that the same person was behind both stabbings. The mayor of White Rock says City Council is now looking into installing CCTV cameras at the waterfront. A town hall will be held at White Rock Community Centre Tuesday night. And in Richmond, homicide detectives say a 38-year-old man has been arrested as they investigate the death of a woman found inside her home. iHit says Mounties received a request for a wellness check at the home around 5 o'clock Friday night. Police responded and found the 71-year-old woman had died. Officers believe the incident was isolated and there is no safety risk to the public. They are asking anyone with information to come forward. All London drugstores across Western Canada are closed until further notice after the company says it was the victim of a cyber attack. The company says pharmacists will still be supporting customers with urgent pharmacy needs, and anyone seeking information should call their local pharmacy to make arrangements. The retailer operates nearly 80 stores across BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. It's not clear how long the stores will be closed. In a statement, the company says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution, adding they do not believe customer or employee data has been affected. Some BC doctors say Ottawa's new capital gains tax increase could drive more doctors out of family medicine when hundreds of thousands of British Columbians still don't have a family physician. As Sohrab Sandhu reports, they believe the tax changes will impact recruitment and retention, but the federal government is pushing back.
Vancouver physician Dr. Ahmed Karimuddin says the federal government's proposal to increase the capital gains inclusion rate will significantly impact doctors in BC who incorporate their medical practices.
They pay rent, they pay overhead, they pay salaries for their office staff. And part of that running a small business requires them to become incorporated to actually be able to do the work that they do.
Dr. Karimuddin says many doctors also use their incorporation to pay for benefits and save for retirement.
Because now that it's at that higher taxation rate, that means they're getting less and less money to take home to actually fund their retirement.
He says he understands the need for taxation, but says it shouldn't come at the expense of highly sought-after doctors. He believes the tax change could undermine efforts to recruit and retain family doctors in BC.
We worried this is going to mean that physicians that are working in the community, mostly family doctors and even specialists, will look at shutting down their practices that they've got in the community and moving into more hospital-based settings.
The Canadian Medical Association wants to see exemptions created to protect physicians.
We really do want to have a conversation with Minister Freeland to understand the particular impacts on family physicians.
Ottawa has already dismissed the doctor's plea to reconsider the capital gains tax changes, arguing the revenue is needed to fund things like housing and healthcare.
I am so grateful to every single healthcare professional in Canada. I also really believe that tax fairness is the right thing.
This new taxation package actually reverses years of gains that the provincial government, along with us, have made in keeping people practicing in those communities.
Dr. Karimuddin says there are roughly 700,000 British Columbians still without a family doctor, a number he worries could grow if new taxation policy comes into place. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Vancouver.
The province announced Friday that it will reintroduce a ban against drug use in all public spaces. It's a major change to BC's drug decriminalization pilot program.
Illicit drugs and hard drugs should not be used where kids are playing, where patients are recovering, where community life is lived.
Under the new rules, if police find people using drugs in places like parks and hospitals, they can force them to leave. Officers will also have the authority to arrest anyone who threatens public safety. BC Health Minister Adrian Dix joined CBC's chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton this morning to discuss how police will be implementing the ban.
So just so I understand, if someone is seen caught doing drugs in a public space, will the first response from police be to arrest them, or will there be an attempt to try and remove them from the area or bring them somewhere else?
The first response will be to have people move along, to say that this is not allowed in this public space. There is direction to police and prosecutors in this regard, and this is what police want. They want the means to be able to have people move along if required, and if it escalates to seize the drugs, if required to arrest, but principally to move people along. And the police have told us that they don't feel they have that authority now, and that's why this change is being made.
A 6-year-old boy from Surrey had his dreams come true last night after Punjabi superstar Diljit Dosanjh invited him on stage. The CBC's Beneat Brach has more on the young fan's reaction to performing alongside his idol.
Vibing and doing Bhangra on stage with Diljit Dosanjh, an unforgettable moment for Surrey's Anik Buller.
I like his dancing moves, and I love him. He's the best singer.
The 6-year-old sat high up on his dad's shoulders. Catching the eye of the singer, Diljit invited and carried Anik on stage.
What was it like for you to be up there?
Happy.
Tens of thousands cheered him on, and then another surprise.
And after when he danced, he gave me the jacket, and it's way too big on me.
It still looks really good on you.
And it's a skeleton jacket.
It was remarkable. I mean, we were shaking, we were crying, we had tears, text messages.
His dad says it's a moment his son has long manifested.
Through his Bhangra lessons, every time he comes home, he pretended that he was on stage with Diljit, so wanted to dress up like Diljit.
Anik started taking Bhangra classes about a year ago. His talent and smile shined bright as Diljit made history in BC Place. He's the first Punjabi artist to headline the stadium with a sold-out show for his North American Dil Luminati tour. The venue holds more than 50,000 people. And as artists like Diljit bring their music to the mainstream, the impact goes a long way, even for fans as young as Anik.
A lot of these artists are some of the biggest artists in the world. So I think that there needs to be a little bit of an awakening to the global impact that is South Asian music, which, by the way, has almost entirely all of its roots here in British Columbia, in Vancouver, in Surrey.
An electric atmosphere and an unforgettable milestone for Barinder's son.
Having someone like Diljit sold out 50,000 people, for my son to embrace his culture, his heritage, his language was something so wonderful, and just speaks to what Diljit has done globally.
Their moments shared on stage have gone viral on social media. Onyx says Diljit inspires him, and he had a lot of
fun.
Onyx hopes to keep dancing his heart out on the stage and off. Benit Brach, CBC News, Vancouver.
There is hope tonight that a recently freed orca calf will reunite with its family in the open waters off Vancouver Island. The orca surprised many when it swam out of a remote lagoon where it had been stranded for more than a month. As Yvette Bren tells us, crews are using AI technology in their efforts to help.
After a challenging escape, now more uncertainty.
It is a case of the next few weeks will pretty much be critical.
The 2-year-old orca calf named Quisa Hayes, or Brave Little Hunter, made it out of a tidal lagoon on northern Vancouver Island. She'd been orphaned after her pregnant mother beached herself while hunting and died. Now the calf is back in open sea, searching for her pod.
Either she won't be seen again, she'll be seen with a different pod, or she'll be seen with her family.
Researchers are using an AI program called FinWave to scan for the dorsal fins of her family. But there's only so much they can do to reunite them.
Even if she doesn't necessarily come across her immediate family, there are potential chances that other transient killer whales sort of may let her tag along at a distance. It's really unknown at this point.
The calf still needs hunting lessons, but at least right now there's lots of food.
You know, that time of year, I think spring is here, and there's a lot of life out in the ocean.
The calf was too stressed to be tagged in the lagoon, so researchers are relying on sightings now to keep track.
We know that she's likely still in Esperanza Inlet, but she's definitely moving away from boats and people, which is exactly what we want. And so we're really optimistic about her future.
So hope remains strong that this little hunter will make it. Yvette Bren, CBC News, Vancouver.
Cole keeps the puck in on the near side. Joshua in the corner lets it go for Garland. Centers, Lindholm scores!
That was Elias Lindholm scoring in overtime to lift the Vancouver Canucks to a 4-3 win against the Nashville Predators. The Canucks snatched a 3-1 lead, putting the Predators on the brink of elimination in their best-of-7 first-round series. Brock Besser had his first hat trick in the playoffs and 7th of his career. He scored on Vancouver's first shot and got the Canucks into overtime, scoring twice in the final 3 minutes of the game. His third goal came with 6.2 seconds left in regulation to quiet a Nashville crowd.
Miller shoots, tipped on goal, rebound, Besser scores a hat trick, Besser, and the Canucks have tied the game with 6.2 seconds remaining in regulation.
The Canucks won with Arturs Silovs making 27 saves in his NHL playoff debut. The 23-year-old goalie started in place of Casey DeSmith, who did not play because of an undisclosed injury. Game 5 is set to go Tuesday in Vancouver. Outdoor enthusiasts from around the world geared up for the Cathet region's 31st annual Marathon Shuffle. The long-time event takes hikers through one of BC's most scenic trails and Canada's longest hut-to-hut hiking adventure. As Claire Palmer reports, the trail is maintained year-round by a dedicated group of volunteers.
The Sunshine Coast Trail is a 180-kilometer hike through the Powell River area, guiding outdoor enthusiasts through old-growth forest, along coastal shorelines, and over mountain peaks. It's Canada's longest hut-to-hut hiking trail, all built and maintained by volunteers like Jim Stutt.
I've been a volunteer most of my life, and this is a way to be outside and have fun and meet new people and do interesting things.
Eagle Walls helped pioneer the creation of the trail in 1992. He says the trail's amenities are free of charge on a first-come, first-sleep basis.
I said, we have to do something to save some of that forest. Before too long, I met some like-minded people, and within a year we had established Powell River Parks and Wilderness Society, now renamed as Cathet Parks and Wilderness Society, or Cathet PAWS.
The society oversees the year-long maintenance and development of the network of trails, which volunteers say was voted a top 13 hut-to-hut trail in the world by U.S. publication Outside Magazine last summer.
When I went, my last hut there was in a bay where orca came by, and I just thought I'd wake up and I died and gone to heaven.
Volunteers say the trail is becoming increasingly popular with locals and tourists.
August 3rd, 2023, Amber and Brian fulfilled our 6-year dream of hiking SCT together. It's been a grand adventure.
It is a work in progress, and these trees that you're looking at right now, I've seen it over a period of 32 years, that, wow, they really have grown. And so we're just hoping that it's never finished growing.
The aim, to preserve and promote outdoor recreation for generations to come. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Powell River.
After more than 3 weeks of skill sharpening and team building around various gridirons in the Lower Mainland, the BC Lions Indigenous Youth Program wrapped up today with a flag football tournament in Surrey. We caught up with some of the young athletes and coaches at the tournament. Take a listen.
This is our Indigenous Youth Program, so it's the 3rd year that we're doing this, and it's really about creating relationships with the Indigenous community through their youth. Our coaches go out to 4 different communities to teach them the game of flag football, and then it all comes together here today for the Flag Football Championship. I think, when they had the confirmation of the unmarked graves into Kamloops, Kamloops is our home away from home where we do training camp every year, so that kind of was the impetus for us to try and look at what we could do to make a difference.
I think it's really important for how many people came out and how I came out, because I'm a young Indigenous athlete. I just joined rugby and now I'm trying out all different sports. And it's nice to learn about more of my culture here, and I think it's really important.
Well, the kids, for us, football in my mind is one of the ultimate team sports, so how to be a good teammate and to work as a team. Determination, it's not always easy. How to overcome adversity, how to set goals and to achieve in your life, and hopefully that carries on to other aspects of their life.
After the break, a BC group is taking action as police, experts, and educators warn about the shocking rise of online child sexual exploitation. That story is next. Stay with us. A BC organization is trying to combat the online sexual exploitation of children and teens, not by confronting the predators, but by trying to educate the potential victims. The CBC's Georgie Smythe has the story.
What percentage of girls regret sending their nudes?
At this workshop for 12 and 13-year-olds, the kids are learning how predators try to gain their trust online.
They'll isolate you. They'll tell you not to tell anyone that they're talking.
Blunt messaging in schools and on the streets, a response to what educators call an epidemic of online child exploitation.
We know that humour is a good way in with teen boys. It's a way to connect to a really serious issue. It's a good entry point.
No, you need to email.
Leo McIsaac went to one of the workshops. He uses platforms like Discord to message his friends after school.
And would you say that your behaviour online has changed at all, like given what you know now?
I think I'm a little bit more careful, maybe, kind of listening to what people are saying a little bit more.
Teen boys make up a majority of the victims. Some in the workshop say they've already had unwanted contact online.
They just added me and sent me random stuff. Sometimes they're even a bit weird, but I just block them.
The danger is tragically real, as shown in recent examples of police responding after young victims took their own lives.
That's kind of scary. Is that happening?
Canada's national tip line reports about 10 calls a day related to extortion threats.
And they understand that youth here in North America, may have access to money.
Advocates want social media companies to be required to take down content faster after a complaint.
We've allowed the companies to dictate what they are going to do and what they aren't going to do in a voluntary way, instead of telling them, no, this is what needs to happen on your platforms. These are the safety aspects that you need to have.
We never ever want you to give your personal information to any strangers online.
But they say stopping the content from going online in the first place would be the best outcome of all. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Here we have a live shot of Burrard Inlet facing the North Shore. I'll have your full forecast coming up next.
Hey, I'm Rohith Joseph. Vibin' is the new show all about discovering great new songs and fresh artists from across BC and beyond. Stream Vibin' on CBC Listen.
All right, let's take a look at our forecast for the week. Let's begin with temperatures around the regions for tonight. We're seeing some chances of snow flurries in certain areas of the province, including Dease Lake, Fort St. John, Bella Coola, and Kamloops overnight. Kelowna, you're going to see some isolated thunderstorms tonight and into tomorrow morning. Lots of precipitation on the island. Victoria and Tofino sitting at 3 overnight with some rain, and that light rain is going to continue for a lot of these areas. Dease Lake, a high of 9 for tomorrow with lots of rain. Fort St. John, similar situation, warming right up in Prince George with a high of 7 for tomorrow. Williams Lake, sunny and a high of 11. Whistler, Victoria and Tofino, you're going to see that rain again with a high of 12 in Victoria for tomorrow. And moving into our 5-day forecast here in Metro Vancouver, we're going to see some light rain tomorrow. Not too much, about 1 millimeter of rain tomorrow. That's going to dry right up with a high of 12 for Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday, a high of 14 and 15. We're going to see a chance of some of those light rain scattered showers coming back on Thursday and possibly Friday. A Japanese celebrity is turning 70 this year, and as part of the celebrations, he made a special appearance in Tokyo. Yes, it was 1954 when the first Godzilla movie debuted. To mark the anniversary, the radioactive reptile's image, standing 100 meters tall, was projected onto a Tokyo municipal government building. In fact, Godzilla holds an official title in the city ward where the building is located, Cultural Ambassador. He doesn't look a day over 70. That is your late news for this Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For news at any time, head to our website at cbc.ca/BC. Your next local news is on the early edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Have a great night.